Hello everybody, welcome to the Empressive channel. P. Diddy's trial has started and I tell you, the details so far have been crazy already. Diddy right now is facing some serious charges. The feds hit him with a racketeering charge, a trafficking charge, and also a charge relating to transportation to engage in prostitution. And if Diddy is found guilty on all these counts, he could be facing life in prison. Now, the prosecutors did show the footage where Diddy was beating down his ex-girlfriend Cassie at the Intercontinental Hotel, and one of the security guards who intervened during that incident did give a testimony and said that Diddy was shouting at her and telling her not to leave. And he even said that Diddy tried to bribe him, but he turned it down. He also said that Cassie had a bruised eye, but Diddy's defense team did kind of grill him, and they pointed out the fact that some of the stuff that he was saying was not written down in his initial incident report. So there is some discrepancy there. Diddy's defense also downplayed the idea that Diddy bribed him because the security guard was complaining about the damages. So they basically argued that Diddy was offering money to pay for the damages, not to bribe him. Now, the prosecutors brought up a second witness, and this was kind of crazy. The second witness was a male escort named Daniel Phillip, and he said that he participated in multiple freak-off sessions with Diddy and Cassie. Now, if you remember in Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, she claimed that Diddy would arrange for her to sleep with men while he sat and watched and jacked off in the corner. That is what they would call their freak-off sessions. And Cassie did also say that she was the one who would actually select the escorts upon Diddy's instruction. This escort in particular, Daniel Phillip, claimed that Cassie paid him. He showed up at the hotel. He thought that he was going to strip for a bachelorette party. Come to find out, he walked into a private freak-off party and Cassie offered him money, and then she told him to rub her down with some baby oil, and they started getting nasty. And meanwhile, Diddy was in a corner with a bandana covering his face, and he was just watching, sitting there jacking off. Diddy would also record them and tell them to rub more baby oil on each other. And the escort did say that these freak-off encounters would last up to 10 hours and he would get paid up to $6,000 in cash. And rarely did they use condoms. Whew. So can you imagine the STDs? Whew. And one time, Cassie asked the escort to give her a golden shower. This is what the escort, Daniel Phillip, said. He said, Cassie was actually the one who asked me to urinate on her. She asked me if I ever done that before. She told me to do it. Apparently, I was doing it wrong because they both told me. Also, the escort Daniel did say that he did witness Diddy put his hands on Cassie a number of times. One time, Diddy threw a glass bottle at her and dragged her by her hair into another room. And Daniel said she was screaming. He said, I could hear what sounded like him slapping her. She was screaming, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And then he heard Diddy tell Cassie, be when I tell you to come now, not later. Now, the escort, Daniel, did not intervene or call the police because he was scared. He was scared that if he did something, Diddy would take his life. And he didn't want that to happen. And also, he detailed another incident where Diddy was slapping Cassie behind the bedroom doors and she was screaming. And then he left the hotel room and Cassie jumped into Daniel's lap and she started crying. And then she started kissing him and their kissing turned into them having a full-blown intercourse. And then Diddy's freaky self pops up out of nowhere and starts watching them again. So that was a good bulk of the escort's testimony. It was very graphic. It was so graphic that Diddy's daughters had to leave the courtroom. And honestly, I don't know why Diddy would even want his children there. It's just not appropriate. And I don't agree with him trying to use his children to soften his image for the jury. Now, I want to get into Cassie's testimony because this is, in fact, important. Now, Cassie was in a 10-year relationship with Diddy, and it was very volatile. Cassie actually sued Diddy in 2023 and accused him of SA, DV. She claims he drugged her, violated her, and did all types of heinous stuff to her. And Diddy did settle that $30 million lawsuit within a day. And of course, that made him look guilty because that was the fastest settlement in entertainment history. And this lawsuit actually led the feds to investigate Diddy and also arrest him. So Cassie's lawsuit and her testimony are very important. And like I mentioned before, Diddy is facing racketeering charges, and basically he's being accused of running a criminal enterprise and using bribery and arson and trafficking and all sorts of crimes under his company. And also he's facing another charge for sex trafficking and also transporting prostitutes across state lines to engage in sex. So that is illegal. And Cassie's testimony actually strengthens the prosecutor's case against Diddy because she admitted that Diddy had his staff provide her with drugs for their freak-offs. And some of these drugs were illegal, like ecstasy. That's not legal. Diddy would also use travel agents who worked for his company to arrange for escorts to fly in for the freak-offs. And their freak-offs would take place in different states and different countries. So they were flying prostitutes in, and that is actually illegal too. So Diddy was using his network of people and his enterprise to basically engage in crimes. And this is what's going to cook Diddy. Yes, he's violent, and yes, he's freaky, but those are just descriptions of his character. However, it's these crimes that are going to have him locked up for life. Now, Cassie hit the stand and she broke down in tears, y'all. She talked about how she met Diddy. You know, she was an aspiring singer. She met him when she was 19 years old, and he was in his mid-30s, close to 40. And of course, since she was signed to him, he had this power over her. He had power over her career and her choices. And he also lured her into having a romantic relationship with him. And Cassie admitted that she was in love with Diddy. She was enamored by his fun, outgoing personality. However, she didn't know that he had a dark, devious side. She said that he would frequently put his hands on her and he would leave injuries all over her body. She said sometimes if she even looked at him wrong, he would knock her in the face. So he was very temperamental and moody at times. And also she said she was shocked when Diddy introduced her to these freak-offs. Diddy liked to watch his partners sleep with other men. That is how he got his rocks off, right? So he wanted Cassie to do that. And at the time, Cassie was young, she was inexperienced, and she didn't really open up until Diddy gave her some ecstasy. And that's when she got lured into the freak-off lifestyle, okay? Now, some people would argue that she was complicit because she picked the escorts and she oftentimes paid them, but she claims that she did it under Diddy's instruction. And at first, Diddy was the one who was picking the escorts, but then he gave her the task to do it. And she would have to find them off of Craigslist or Backpage, and Diddy would have to approve. But Diddy was really the one who was orchestrating all of the freak-offs. He was the one who set up how he wanted it done. He was recording her. There was like tons of blackmail footage that they both recorded. And she claims that she didn't really know how to refuse the freak-offs because she didn't know how Diddy would react. Diddy was moody. He was temperamental. She was scared that he would get mad or violent. And she also didn't want to be rejected because in her mind, she was in love with him. So it's clear that she had some form of Stockholm syndrome. The freak-offs were humiliating. It made her feel disgusting. She actually broke down in tears when she talked about it. She was always drugged up when she did the freak-offs too. She was always either on ecstasy, coke, or mushrooms, and she drank alcohol, and she would be doing freak-offs for days at a time. The longest freak-off session was like over 4 days, and she had to take coke to keep her going. Like, it was a lot. And Diddy loved to see Cassie get peed on. He liked the escorts to pee on her. And not to mention, he was obsessed with baby oil. He wanted Cassie and his escorts glistening in baby oil. Cassie said they used 10 bottles of baby oil per freak-off session. And one time, Diddy had Cassie get into a pool full of baby oil. It was just crazy. Her testimony was really intense, and she has more testimony left. She will be cross-examined by Diddy's defense team, but as far as I'm concerned, Diddy is cooked. Now, I do want to talk about this because some days ago, the R&B singer Al B. Sure revealed that he believes that Diddy was behind his medical crisis that almost ended his life. He thinks Diddy tried to take him out. Now, if you don't know, back in 2022, Al B. Sure collapsed and fell into a coma for 2 months, and he suffered from multiple organ failure. And it really is a miracle that he was able to make it out alive, but he got a liver transplant and he recovered, and now he's alive to tell his story. And he is dropping a tell-all book called Do You Believe Me Now? And he is alleging a lot of things, and he is saying that Diddy tried to take him out because he was about to tell it all.
I was ignored. There was the most expensive PR campaign against me to shut me down. If you actually knew what they did to me, there was a bounty on my head. There was a bunch of stuff.
So do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
My first time saying it.
Are you concerned that he still has power outside of incarceration?
Remember, I'm the only one who spoke up, and I'm the only one left alive.
Al B. Sure also believes that Diddy might have been behind his ex, Kim Porter's, death. It was widely reported that Kim passed from pneumonia, but there are some people who don't believe that. There are people who believe that Diddy had Kim Porter taken out because she was about to write a tell-all book about him.
Yes, many, many years ago, I posted some information that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand why.
Because of Diddy.
Basically.
Do you believe that she died of pneumonia?
Absolutely not.
Why? What evidence do you have?
She was in the best of health. We just saw each other prior to her passing.
So this once again adds fuel to the theories that Kim Porter did not pass from natural causes, but she was actually unalived and allegedly unalived by P. Diddy. Now, we don't really know if it's true, but the fact that Al B. Sure is kind of, I guess, vaguely hinting at it, it does make me wonder, But anyway, tell me what you all think about this whole mess down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.